Hi, thanks for watching another episode of Frostbites. Today we have Samantha Moatz from 412THRIVE. She is the executive director. We just had a great interview with her. My co-host today was Judy Kinney from Sebeka. I tell you what, Sam gave us so much information about 412THRIVE and everything that she's doing to help women in this organization. There's so much to learn about today. You don't want to miss it, so thanks for watching always. We are jumping right in here with Samantha Moatz, and she is the executive director of 412THRIVE. Sam, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we also have our beautiful co-host, Judy Kinney, and she is with Sebeka. I mean, she keeps us all blinged out all the time, so we are happy to have her with us today as well.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
She was asking all kind of questions today, but she assured me that everyone that's going to be on the show today, she is absolutely enthralled with. So we're starting with Sam today, right?
Yep, I love Sam.
Love you.
So Sam, 412THRIVE. This has been happening with you for how many years now?
Close to 4. March will be 4 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's my lucky number 4. It's
Lucky
going to be
number?
a good year, yeah.
Okay. Well, how did this start? Let's go back to the beginning.
This started in, I say my kitchen, but kind of actually my hospital bed. I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 23, so in 2010. And I went through surgery and treatment and had several complications from my surgeries. So I've dealt with infections since then, and I've had 16 surgeries, the last being 2 years ago. And so when I was in 2019, I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was in the hospital again, 8 months pregnant, with an infection, and depression just got me. So started messaging some women that I met on social media that had been breast cancer patients in the area, and I invited them to my house. And March 7th of 2020 was the first time that we all met in person, and the rest is kind of history because we've just been family ever since.
So you say in this area, so where is that?
So we service Southwestern Pennsylvania. These women that I invited over were from South Hills, North Hills area, but since we've grown out of just those 10 women and we now service over 600 women, we service women throughout Southwestern Pennsylvania. So we have women in Latrobe, in Greensburg, Irwin, North Huntington, South Hills, North Hills, everywhere.
So you have
Here in
women that are
Washington
crossing
County.
Bridges and tunnels and...
Unheard of in Pittsburgh.
It is. It really is.
They do. We have women who go to the North Hills to hang out with thrivers there, and women from North Hills to come to the South Hills. And I know I was definitely one of those women. I'm from the South Hills, so getting me to go out north pretty much has to be a promise to Ross Park Mall. So,
All right, so you started this because it was a need. You saw a need, you wanted to fill a need, but you said yourself that you are facing depression, and you reached out, and just all these women kind of wrapped their arms around you.
Exactly. We just started this community, and literally that night that I invited them over, they were like, wow. They were like, before we left, they were like, can we do this again next month? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I can have 10 women over my house once a month. That's no problem. And then COVID hit, literally a week to the day. And so bobbed and weaved, and I started a Facebook group, and we opened a Zoom account and did little online bingo games and virtual trivia games, and I told my husband one time, I was like, hey, Mark, you're going to donate $25 gift card to Amazon for the winner of trivia night. And he's like, okay, sure. And it was just something to keep these women together, even though we couldn't physically be together, because cancer patients were more isolated now than ever before. Cancer isolates you so much, but then COVID, these people were going to treatment by themselves. We have a woman who was diagnosed at 22 and again at 23 during COVID, and her mom had to drop her off for her mastectomy at the front of the hospital and couldn't go in with her. So I can't imagine that as somebody who had breast cancer at 23 going to that surgery alone. So we just really needed to rally around each other and create this support system that's just grown into what it is today, which is pretty amazing.
That is amazing. I mean, there's unfortunately so many women in my life that, you know, I've been around that have had breast cancer, that, you know, have survived it and are thriving, as, you know, that's, I think, your favorite word probably. Yes. But, you know, doing it on your own, that's so difficult. And I will say that, you know, you and I have met a couple times and talked about what you're doing and where it came from. And you said you were doing care packages. Mm-hmm. And you said some of the care packages were so unique because it wasn't like you were dropping off fruit and blankets.
Yeah.
So what were in your care packages?
Yeah. Our care packages started off actually with the woman who was diagnosed at 22 and 23. I was like, what can I do for her really from a distance? So everything that I knew that I needed to recover from that you don't really realize you need until you're kind of already in it. I just went to Target and I got a huge laundry basket and I filled it with everything she needed and I dropped it off at her door, rang the doorbell and left. And it just was super helpful to her, and that's where it started. And after that, we just reached out to our thrivers and we're like, hey, what do you guys recommend? Because even though I have a lot of expertise, I don't know it all. So they added things to our care packages. I think one of the biggest things that has been most helpful to women for mastectomies are our wedge systems that we put in our care package. It's a 4 to 6 piece wedge system. They're fairly expensive, so not many people would think to buy them for this surgery, but you're having a double mastectomy. A lot of women have immediate reconstruction, which can cost up to $300,000. Insurance hopefully pays for that. But this wedge system can be, during COVID, it was actually $250 for this wedge system. Now you can probably find them for about $150. If you don't use a wedge system and you were to roll over on your reconstruction, it could possibly destroy the pocket that your plastic surgeon just created.
Besides being painful.
Yes, exactly. Besides being painful. So this just keeps you propped up in the right position and has really been probably the top sought-out product in our care packages for these women. So that's been really helpful. We also do shower chairs. That's something that I personally experienced. Even just having a small surgery, I was very weak in the shower. My mom actually had to come over to my apartment and stand in my bathroom so that I could shower without falling over. So after like years of dealing with that, I was like, wait a second, I should probably just get a shower chair. It was actually my best friend, her grandma had one. She was like, hey, why don't you just like try my grandma's shower chair? And I was like, oh, wow, that's really sad that I'm 25 and I'm trying your grandma's shower chair. But it's been a lifesaver. I will never get rid of that. I actually have thrivers now who was like, hey, if you guys are done with your shower chair, you could, we can have them professionally clean and you can pass it on. And one woman, she goes, you will rip that shower chair out of my cool dead hands. She's like, you're never getting that back. And I'm like, understood. Yeah. It's yours. You take it. But also, I mean, these surgeries can last years. That woman I'm talking about, she just had a round of fat grafting done. And so that's something that, you're going to want to sit down and just let the water hit you. And that's all you're really going to do. After a mastectomy, taking a shower feels like you just ran a marathon. So,
because bathing is out of the question, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right. No bathing for a long time, which is also why we put the bath bomb in our mastectomy care package. I love to take a bath. It's my way to relax. I just took one last night because my back was killing me, my old lady back. But so we put the bath bomb in, and we encourage women the week before your surgery surgery, not the night before because you don't want to put anything on your body the night before, but the week before, just relax yourself in the bathtub, light some candles, enjoy what's going to be probably your last bath with your natural body. And, you know, it's hard, but it's time you should have to yourself. I tell them, take pictures if you want. I actually casted my breast. I used what women do to cast their bellies when they're pregnant. I casted my breast like that, and people signed them at my boob voyage party that I had.
That's funny. I so appreciate that about you, Sam, because I didn't know anything about 412 Thrive until I partnered with Peel for fundraising. I love that you gave me a list of what went into those care packages, because my clients wanted to know what they were supporting, and being, you know, really ignorant of anything that was needed. It was nothing that I would have thought of. And I just really appreciate how you take, you know, a bad situation and use humor to deal with it. I think that's great.
Cancer definitely gives you a sixth sense of humor. That is one of our number one things.
I appreciate your sixth sense of humor.
We do. Yeah,
that is one of the reasons why I love you.
Yes, thank you.
And I will say, every time I ever see them out in any kind of events, it's not like a downer table. People aren't afraid to come over and speak to any of you, which I think some people think, oh, she's got cancer, I can't say anything. How do I talk to them? What do I say? I don't want to say the wrong thing. Because you guys are so welcoming and open, which is fantastic, because then you actually are spreading your message and people get it. They know what you need. They know what you're about. And then they can help spread the message of what you guys are doing. And it is fantastic. I mean, really. There's been so many events. Just Inspired Women, I think, was one of the last ones. Splatter Me Crazy.
Yes.
You guys are fun. I mean, really.
That's like one of my taglines I say is like, 412 Thrive is not your average breast cancer support group. We're not always sitting around a table crying. Don't get me wrong. We definitely cry with each other. That's part of the process. But we are pretty rowdy. I wish you guys could have been at the retreat and seen our karaoke night. Like, honestly, I was like, wow. When I started this breast cancer nonprofit, I never envisioned this, but this is fantastic and wonderful. And it's a wild and crazy time with these women, but it's so much fun.
Even your casino night when you guys all got up and sang, I think it was Lean on Me.
Yes.
It was just fantastic.
Yeah.
And, you know, to reiterate what Kelly said, when you have that sense of humor, it does make you approachable for somebody that doesn't know, you know, what you're dealing with or what to say.
Yeah.
It alleviates it. I have my boob notebook that I have. You know, I'm a notebook fanatic. So I have that. I have my shirt. I have my socks. I have all kinds of things from the merch.
The bag.
Oh, yes.
That's not large enough to put your baggage in.
All right, so for people that don't know, what does the bag say?
Our bag that we give our care packages in, and we also sell on our merch store, says emotional baggage, and then in parentheses it says JK, like it could all fit in here, because we obviously all have a lot of baggage, and there's no way it can fit in one little duffel bag. So.
It's hilarious, but then, like, I have that bag, and when I take it places, people look at it and they read it, and then they read it again, and they go, oh my gosh, that's hilarious, what is that? It opens the door to conversation.
Why do you think my hair is pink?
And your 412 Thrive t-shirts are across all the United States with Sabika
I love that.
stylists everywhere.
I love
We had to teach them what it meant, but yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So you said you were talking about your retreat, which ironically, so I went to high school and, you know, other schools besides high school, but in the South Hills. So we went to Camp Souls.
No way.
When I was in 8th grade. Now, I don't know if I blocked it out or if I just don't remember back that long. Yeah. I am getting older. But, so 8th grade, Camp Souls. So when I heard you all were doing a retreat, and then, of course, Dominique and Denzel were there, and they were capturing all of the moments, and just, you know, they were so excited to do what they were doing. And it was because you all were going to Camp Souls.
Yeah,
so tell us about that.
Oh, it was amazing. We could not have asked for a better experience. We already have it booked for next year, thanks to Inspired Women's. We were able to put the down payment on that, and we will have it again September 19th, I think, next year. So 100 Thrivers will get to go 100% free of charge.
100?
They don't pay a single penny. They get to come have 4 days, 3 nights away together just to heal. It's amazing. And yeah, if you watch the video that Denzel did and you see the photos that Dominique did, I mean, if you can make it through that video without crying, then I don't know how you've done it. But and the photos, if you can see like the messages, I'll screenshot them sometimes and just send them to Dominique so that she understands how important the work is that she's doing, because these women some of them came not even expecting to do a photo shoot. They were like, oh no, I didn't even bring makeup. I was like, no, like we hired someone to come specifically for women in treatment, put eyelashes on you, do whatever you need. Dominique brought some beautiful gowns, and these women went from being in active chemo, having blisters and sores in their mouth, to looking like they should be on the cover of a magazine. And that is healing to them. It's going from women sometimes get called sir out in public. We've been at the grocery store when you're bald from chemo and you have no breasts from mastectomy and you get called sir, and it's so crushing, so soul crushing. So this is a chance to like reclaim your femininity and just do whatever you want. You can do a headshot if you want. If you don't want to do a ball gown, you can do whatever you want. Some women go topless. Some women go in lingerie and take that home and give it to their husbands as an anniversary gift. But yeah, it's just an amazing healing process, the photo shoots. So
I think that's so brave. I know I could not do that.
Yeah.
You know, so to have women that are going through something that's so traumatic and so just, you know, I don't know, it's just so different. And for them to have the bravery to do that,
I think
incredible.
it took like the other thrivers, like
The support.
surrounding them, and say like we were literally just sitting there at a table, and one of our thrivers, she's actually having her double mastectomy right now as we speak. So yeah, thinking of you, Carrie, but she was like, oh no, like I can't do that. I'm in the middle of chemo. I'm not ready for that. I was like, oh, but I think it would be like really amazing. And a couple other thrivers were like, come on, Carrie, like, let's do it. She had like such a great experience. And like, yeah, I told Dominique, I was like, you should probably put that photo up for like some kind of an award, because that's an amazing photo. So
Does this sink in for you?
what's that?
Everything that you're doing?
Yeah.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really. You're sitting here and talking about how you're supporting all these women. You're changing so many lives.
Yeah.
I mean, you really are. These women are at probably some of the places where they never thought they'd be. They don't want to be. Some of them probably don't even think that they can, make it to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And you're taking their hands, along with the other ladies that you've brought into their lives, and you're pulling them out of the darkness.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what you're doing.
Thank you.
And how many women? 600, did you say?
Yeah, 600 now, over 600.
A little more than can fit in your kitchen table now.
Yeah, a little bit more. I said, I can no longer afford to support wine and cheese for this many women, so we're going to have to start a nonprofit. But yeah, we've really made something amazing here in Pittsburgh. So,
And you've grown very fast.
oh yeah, yeah. I can guarantee you. Let's see, our casino night is April 12th. By then, we'll have 700 thrivers that can.
That was a great night.
And for those that don't know why April 12th, why is that?
Oh, April 12th, the date is 4/12, and so the counties that we service give us a proclamation making it 412 Thrive Day to honor the work that we do, and it's amazing. Last year we had the Pirates pierogies come and race, and it was just a really good time. And last year we raised $70,000. This year I'm hoping to raise well over $100,000, because as you can see by the numbers that keep growing, we really need that financial support to support these women, these patients. Every single thing that we do is free of charge. There's no fee for anything. So the retreat, the care packages, our monthly social gatherings, our support groups, they don't have to worry about paying for any of it, but only if we have donations from the wonderful Yinzers that we get. So,
Because I think you said those care packages cost around $500, right?
yeah, so I've been able to get the mastectomy ones down to about $400 a piece, but that is our number one sought after care package. Our chemo care package is about $170, and our radiation care package is $150. Each of those, so the chemo and mastectomy carry a $50 gift card for dinner, because you're not going to be able to cook for your family for weeks after a mastectomy. So 412thrive is helping with one meal, and same with chemo. There's going to be several days where you can't even stand the smell of food, but your family still needs to eat. So even though you might be eating saltine crackers, you still need to feed your kids. So that's one meal that 412thrive helps out with. And in our radiation care packages, we do a $50 gift card for gas, because you're going to radiation. I did 36 rounds of radiation, so that was 36 daily trips to the hospital when I was 23 and in grad school. So you can imagine finances were pretty tight.
Oh my gosh. So young.
Yeah.
So what is the youngest thriver that you've seen come through with you?
22. We had a week last year where we had 3 women in their 20s join, and they were all having mastectomies. Yeah.
Are you seeing a trend?
So we actually I just talked about that with my oncologist, and he said, it's actually, we were in a support group, and he came to speak, and women were asking, well, why are there so many young women getting breast cancer now? And he said, well, I don't know that the numbers are exactly going up, or if we have advocates like Sam who are telling people, like, hey, look at this. These women are here, we're here, and you need to, like, if you're 22 and you're driving in your car and you feel a lump, like, don't just think, well, that's nothing. Like, call your doctor immediately and keep an eye on it, and don't ever let anybody tell you that you're too young for breast cancer, because that's a lie.
I do remember that hit me when you guys at your casino night last year, and they all got up in a circle and saying, lean on me, and I leaned over to my friend Diane that was with me, and I was like, look at how young all these girls are. The majority of them were younger than me. Not that that's a whole lot, but they were all really, because you don't think of it as, my daughter's young. And
yeah, I mean, a lot of women just don't think that it could happen, or that you need to have a family history, and that's all misinformation. 90% of us have no family history, so only 10% of breast cancer patients.
Can you say that again?
Only 10% of breast cancer patients have a family history, and that's usually from a genetic mutation. So 90% of us have no family history. I was 23, I had no family history, I have no genetic mutation, and I'm living proof that breast cancer can happen to anyone at any time.
So even for someone that doesn't have breast cancer, your organization has really opened my eyes and brings awareness to everybody, whether you are personally affected or not.
And that's what I want to do is, now that we've established our services for our thrivers in treatment and survivorship, I need to get out there and educate these young women. I need to be in high schools and universities telling my story, because just sharing my story educates people on the fact that breast cancer can happen.
It did me.
I honestly just a month ago was sitting there, I was like, wait a second, this is like a lot of work for just me to do to save like all these women's lives. So why not like step it up and go to the Senate and state legislative and get it so that this is mandatory in high school health curriculum, breast education, testicular education, because it's happening to men also. And yes, genetic mutations is a lot and to teach about in high school, but just to teach a little bit, enough to make them aware of what they are and that they exist. And so like, hey, if you have a lot of cancer in your family, maybe, get this, be on the lookout for this, or, even if you don't have a family history and you find something, go to the doctors and do not let them dismiss you. It is their job to send you for further testing. That's all they have to do is write a script for an ultrasound, and you're on your way, and the rest is up to you.
There should be some sort of a mandate that...
A law that makes them do that? Yeah, you would think so.
I mean, really? I mean,
I'll make that happen before I die, I promise.
Well, we'll support you. I mean, I never had a mammogram. I know you're supposed to do it when you're 40. I kept pushing off. I didn't want to do it. I think it was, I already had so much turmoil and things that were going on in my life. I kept thinking to myself, and this is going to sound so ignorant, but I kept thinking, God's not going to do anything else. I can't handle one more
Kelly,
thing.
That's literally, when I was 23, my pap had just passed away from Alzheimer's. That's like he was like my dad. I had just broken up and separated from somebody I had been with for a very long time. And I was like, oh no, God's not going to do this to me. That's going to be, and I did everything. I was like, I don't have $20. I was like, I don't have $20 to go to the doctor, so I don't have a copay. And my best friend's like, here's $20. I was like, damn. It's like, well, I guess I'm going to go to the doctors now. And so, yeah.
I mean, truthfully, it wasn't until I found out that I had a sister, which I didn't know, and she was telling me that she had stage 0 breast cancer. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, that's a sign.
You know, my oncologist told me if you include stage 0, which I don't know why we wouldn't, because that obviously turns into stage 1. And it's actually 1 in 4 women who are affected by breast cancer.
Because we're always told 1 in 8. And the fact that you are not supposed to get a mammogram until you're 40 makes you think it doesn't happen until you're 40.
I didn't even know there was a stage 0. Yeah. I had never heard of that until she told me that. I mean, there's so many, misconceptions as well. Sometimes you're not sure exactly what to believe or how much of that is current information.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went, and I'll tell you what, it was a little scary to get my mammogram because I have dense breasts, which I think a lot of people are also afraid to talk about breasts. But,
yeah.
I
think that's
not with Sam.
Something that people don't realize either is like the majority of us have dense breasts. Yes. I've actually spoken to breast surgeons about this. I was like, what is this? Like, do all breast cancer patients have dense breasts? He goes, well, most women, especially younger women, do have dense breasts, but you don't know unless you have imaging done.
Right.
So if you have no issues, you're not going to know that you have dense breasts. Like most people in Pittsburgh, if they had a scan of their lungs, would show spots in your lungs because of the Pittsburgh air that we breathe. But it's probably nothing. But for cancer patients, they're like, oh, there's a spot in your lung, and we freak out. We're like, oh my gosh. Because for breast cancer, it spreads to lungs, liver, bones, and brain. And so that's what we're all cautious for. But it's just that we're having those scans, and so we see it and we're scared, whereas other people aren't. And it's the same with dense breasts. Is most of us have dense breasts. You just don't know until you have your first ultrasound or
And
mammogram.
now I just had another mammogram done, and they sent me a paper that said, okay, so you do have dense, and it gave all these explanations, which they didn't used to do. So
I want to see that, Kelly. I
I
want to know. I want to hear
I mean, really, they broke everything down, which I never used to get that, and I went through ultrasounds. I had to get an MRI and everything, but this last time I didn't because they knew that. And it just really, it was so much more informative. Yeah. But so I know someone's fighting something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people out there trying to, save a lot of lives.
That's true. All right, so 412 Thrive, we started here. I can see the expansion that you want to do. So I always associate sunflowers with you, because you have them everywhere. And we're here at Mink Studios, and I see that there's a selfie thing that's out there with sunflowers, so I know we're going to have photos of you.
Absolutely.
So where does that come from, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so, well, for starters, even though I'm dressed head to toe in pink, and I do like to shout pink when I'm out in public because it does bring attention to me, and people are like, oh, hey, I love your pink hair. I'll be like, hey, well, let me tell you why I have pink hair. And then they're like, oh, I should not have probably mentioned your pink hair. But we went more Yinzer with 412 Thrive, and so we're black and gold. So for starters, the sunflower is black and yellow. And then it's just also a symbol of joy and togetherness. The sunflower field, we do our photos in there. That's what we send to Thrivers as little pick-me-ups. And yeah, stand tall and shine together. So that's us.
I love that. Yeah, I love it. So what's next for you?
Wow. Right now, I am working on Casino Night. That's our baby. We need to raise a lot of money. We really need to hire staff. We are beyond a point where it can be run just by me. And we have amazing volunteers and an amazing board of directors who do so many things, but we need a full-time staff person who that is their job is to fundraise for us, and so that I can further the education part that I need to. That's what I need to do. Like, I'm like, if anybody's listening, we need $1 million donation so I can focus on our education and save lives. But that's
right,
my
look
goal.
Straight into the camera and say that.
Hey, we need $1 million. No, but that's the truth. Is I could be focusing more on the education, which would be saving lives. That's what I need to do. Is teach these women and that when they're told they're too young for breast cancer, to please not believe it and to advocate for themselves. And that's how we're going to save lives. Early detection, the earlier you find your cancer, the less treatment you have to do, the longer life you'll live, less side effects. And it's just, that's what I need to do, is just to make sure that these women catch their cancer as soon as possible and get it taken care of. So with more funding, I can focus on that and really save thousands of lives across the country, across the world.
So if someone wants to work with you, how do they get in touch with you?
412thrive.org is our website. You can email me at sam@412thrive.org.
Okay.
And yeah, we would love to have you come join us and just help push our mission to really save women dying from metastatic breast cancer.
Okay, so if you're an educator, this is the one that you want to have at your school. She will talk to all of the children, kids, whatever age that they are, guys, girls, whatever, but this is the one that you want to have there, and she'll bring some people with you, and probably some sunflowers too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad that you told your story and you continue to tell it, and that we are at so many different events. So, I mean, it's fantastic what you're doing. I'm so glad that you feel well right now.
Yes.
And that you're, fighting such a great battle for other women too. We like to end all of our podcasts with our frostbites. Okay. So Judy has chosen one for you.
Give it to me, Judy.
All right, here you go. Could you crystallize for us one frostbite of knowledge, that solid, undeniable truth that keeps you motivated even when things get tough?
Well, that is a big question, Judy.
Well, it's number 8.
Give it to her one more time.
Okay. Can you crystallize in one frostbite of knowledge the solid, undeniable truth that keeps you motivated even when things get tough?
We went deep.
Yeah, sorry, it's morning.
What's that quote that I read at the Grateful Gathering? Forget what the exact quote is, but it's, if you get up in the morning and you're not thinking about doing good for others, then get your butt back in bed and try again the next day. So
I like that.
I do too.
Yeah.
So just keep fighting the good fight, right?
Yeah, just think about, for me, like, healing for me is doing good for others. So that's how I heal, and that's what I've been doing.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sam. We appreciate
Thank
you and everything
you.
that you're doing. And let's get some extra people helping you and
Yes.
and supporting you and continuing to boost everything that you're doing. And, we're always behind you with everything you do.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That's another episode of the Frostbites. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe.
Bye.